Good morning, Copers. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing today? It is Thursday, and let's just get right into it. My Facebook page is gone forever. I got into a support chat. I was able to find a way to chat with Facebook support. And what's funny is at first it felt like it was going kind of good. Like the guy was talking to me in English, but he also like felt like he was typing the real messages. Like it didn't feel like he was just like these template messages. I was like, oh, I'm talking to an actual white guy named Liam right now. And we go back and forth and back and forth. He asked me a bunch of questions. He asked me for like screenshots. I'm sending him all the screenshots. And then I get to this part where it says we've passed this to a specialized team. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I get Juan has joined the conversation. And then I get this message. Hi, Lyndon. Thank you for contacting us. After reviewing our internal team, we have determined that your account was removed correctly and cannot be restored. After reviewing our internal team, and then there's a link to the full community standards. Please check our full policies.
$20, little bit extra for the loss of your page. RIP.
Thank you, Cat Respector. I appreciate that. Since you contacted us to request a review of what denomination? Basically non-denominational, but basically Protestant as well, I guess. I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. But I also am not really convinced it matters that much, which I know is a very controversial take for some people. Some people get really mad if you tell them it doesn't really matter. Anyway, thank you for the $2 though. Listen to this. Since you contacted us to request a review of a disabled account, I explained that we opened a ticket and followed up on the case, but our team cannot reactivate this page, so I am ending this contact here regarding your question, considering that it was more informative. I am ending this contact here regarding your question, considering that it was more informative. So that's it. And then I got a message that was like, how satisfied or dissatisfied are you with the help provided for your issue? And then I said, extremely dissatisfied. I have no idea why my page was removed after 7 years of work building it up. And then I got another reply. How satisfied or dissatisfied are you with the help provided for your issue? And I gave it the I gave it the middle finger emoji reaction. And then they said, since we didn't receive a response, we will be closing the chat. So that is that. I've made a new page and I'm going to ask you guys if you're Facebook users to follow it. But I haven't quite got it set up to the point where I'm ready to promote it yet. So I'll do that maybe tomorrow or whatever, or you can just go and search for it on Facebook. Anyway, there's a picture of my daughter from April that we took down at the lake. Okay, moving on. Honey AI. So this is a sponsored post on Facebook. This is an ad that they paid to promote. Get Honey AI girlfriend. And Full Verity, this Twitter account I like, he says, this image captures several converging signs of decay. The infantilization of desire. The AI figure looks disturbingly childlike, reinforcing how digital consumerism now panders to regressed associated fantasies rather than mature eros or real intimacy. Total control fantasy. The commands jump for me, open your mouth, etc. are not flirtation, but domination scripts, mechanical compliance posing as affection. It's not companionship, it's synthetic slavery that flatters the solipsism of the user. Aesthetic nihilism, the decaying bathroom setting meant to be ignored, symbolically mirrors the interior ruin of the user. It's a crypt masked as a playground. Hyperreal collapse. As Baudrillard warned, the simulacrum doesn't just mimic reality, it replaces it. These AI girlfriends represent the inversion of the feminine. No soul, no resistance, no mystery, just a programmed void that conforms. And I retweeted this, and it got 25,000 views, which is really not much by Twitter standards. But he goes, this thread is officially blowing up, and my notifications are now a museum of depravity, filled with broken men defending their AI girlfriends by claiming I must be using AI because I typed an EM dash. Yes, and then I'm like, and then I scroll down and I see V, Romanian V. I know it's kind of small on your screens there, but he says, "Bruh, let me blow it up. Bruh, dildos exist since the 90s, which commodifies men to a sex organ. Yet life moves on. Women still look for real men, etc." So I don't know if he quote tweeted this too and got all his kind of degen. Let's do the view quotes. Yeah, there it is. There it is. You guys are never happy. You didn't want brothels, so you got hotlines and smut and TV. You didn't like brothels and smut and TV, so you got well, we still have smut and TV, so I don't, and brothels, so I'm not really sure how that tracks. You don't like OnlyFans and you're getting AI, which again, like all of this stuff still, like, it's not like we got rid of OnlyFans and then AI came in. It's just a slippery slope downward. Whenever I see V, it's always like he's always just defending degenerate shit. Which, as I've said this before, but that's essentially the legacy of Gamergate. Like that's essentially a lot of the people who were involved in the OG Gamergate and the Kotaku and Action forums. They didn't want to like deal with controversial issues like race, and so they just went all in on like we want girls showing their panties in video games and shit like that, and if we don't have that, then it's censorship. Okay. And in more of our brave new world, beyond the AI girlfriends, we have embryo selection now with IVF, where they'll show you characteristics of the embryo, things like height and IQ and all these other things. Obviously, they can't tell you like the exact IQ of what but they can give you an inclination of, will it be higher IQ than the other embryos? And so, yeah, this is where we're headed now for IVF. Is you get a bunch of embryos that are fertilized, and then you pick the most promising genetic baby out of the group.
I'm so excited today to announce the launch of Nucleus Embryo, a genetic optimization software that helps parents give their children the best possible start in life. This announcement also marks the first time a company has openly partnered with a couple to help them optimize their embryos.
Openly, by the way. It's not that this hasn't happened. We're just doing it openly now.
For me, the launch of Nucleus Embryo is deeply personal. My parents are immigrants from Iran who came to America with nothing but conviction that me and my siblings would have more. They sacrificed.
Very interesting. One more observation in my Iranian log.
Struggled and made bold choices that opened doors for me I could never have imagined. But my parents, or anyone, couldn't change what they didn't know. When I was almost 7 years old, my 15-year-old cousin suddenly died in her sleep from a preventable genetic disease. My family was powerless to save her.
Right, but the way this system works is your cousin never would have lived because you would have chosen a different embryo. They see, it's like a little bait and switch there of like, oh, we could have saved her life with this technology, but actually you would have just made a different baby that would have been less prone to that. And the way IVF works is you fertilize all these embryos and then you pick one and then all the other ones die. So if you believe life begins at conception, which it's, you know, is it even a conception? These are like a philosophical debate that I don't want to get into, but you're basically killing babies when you do IVF.
And that's why Nucleus launched genetic matching, so parents could uncover the hidden risks they could pass down to their kids and make informed choices to protect their family. When we launched genetic matching, a lot of parents asked us a new question: what else could I know about my future baby? Now, we can help answer that question. Nucleus Embryo is for couples doing IVF.
It's funny how the aesthetic is very like sci-fi dystopian. Like I'm watching this and it reminds me of these sort of future sci-fi dystopian, whether they're comedies or thrillers or whatever, they'll often have this exact kind of like really like clean white aesthetic, you know, which is to kind of like make the dystopian juxtaposition of like you're watching something horrific, but it's presented so polished.
To uncover the full genetic profile of each embryo in one.
See, IQ, height, eye color, hair color.
Intuitive platform. You can explore your future child's health, appearance, and even their well-being. And one of my favorite features, you can even name your embryos and leave notes on the ones you like.
Name them.
Family planning.
Name them before you decide if you're gonna let them live or not. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Is now truly for families. Understand your...
Sorry, Steve. we decided to go with Julie.
Future children in simple terms with one clean, easy to use interface for parents doing...
Modern genetics is another tool parents can use.
Nucleus embryos for any couple undergoing IVF who wants the full genetic profile of their embryo before making what is really life's biggest decision, your future child. I also think, you know, it's for anyone, any couple that actually wants to use modern genetic science to help. One of many tools, just like how you want to give your child the best education, the best healthcare, now you can use genetics to give your child the best start at the embryonic level.
This is obviously like horrific and implies like, you know, a further descent into transhumanism, and it's only going to get more and more common and normalized in that. And so you should feel horrified when you see this. Having said that, if I was going to do IVF, I would do this. You know what I mean? Like, it does make sense, and people are going to do it because of that, because it makes sense. I don't like IVF. I think IVF full stop is God, I don't want to say evil because I'm so sympathetic for people who can't reproduce normally. I feel bad for those people, but it kind of is. I think it kind of like once you allow for something like IVF and the way that functions, you know, to quote Coach McGurk, you're already there. You're already at the party. IVF is already wrong. So how can genetically optimizing your baby be wrong when you're already wrong to begin? You know what I mean? You're going to do IVF, but draw the line at picking for the better genetics? That doesn't make any sense.
And so that's another person, I think.
This isn't an endorsement. I'm just saying, if I somehow, for some reason, was going to do it, I would do it this way.
So if you actually go to the IVF clinic today, basically all clinics will stop at telling parents about severe and very, very rare genetic conditions. Nucleus Embryo gives you, the couple, the full genetic profile of your embryos. So everything from cancers to diabetes to physical characteristics to personality and even IQ. One of the things that was really important to us was building the software for the couple, not the clinician. And with that, it's a beautiful, easy to use interface, and you can actually sort and even compare and name your embryos. And so we really wanted to make a product that wasn't just scientifically rigorous, but also made it such that parents could make what is really the most important decision.
Should you be proud of good genetics if they're not random? Well, I mean, that's the thing is eventually it's going to be way less random than even this. It's not just going to be like you get to roll the dice a dozen times. This is like creating a D&D character, but instead of rolling your stats one time, you get to roll
what they should pick on. Different parents have different values, and those values will be reflected in their future children. It was actually interesting because there was a study.
This kind of the smile he's doing, this like roguish smile, because he knows it's fucked up, but he's like defending it anyways, and just kind of like, yeah, can you believe I'm saying all this? We had at the company I used to work for before I quit web development to do full-time YouTubing, we had this guy who was an Iranian who joined the company, and he reminds me a lot of this guy, slick motherfucker who like rose up the ranks really quickly and was like really kind of charismatic and charming and that, but just kind of like a good talker more than anything.
That was done that showed over 50% of people actually think genetic enhancement or optimization is fine. And in fact,
oh, well, there you go.
40% of people said that if genetic optimization could be used to help their son or daughter get into better college, they would use it. And so I think no matter where you sit in kind of your thought process on the ethics of genetic optimization, I think it maintains.
The problem is it's an arms race, right? So even if you don't want to do this, if everybody else is doing it, now your kid is disadvantaged beyond whatever their normal, right? You get what I'm saying, right? It's like you're kind of, if everybody else is doing it, you almost don't have a choice. Obviously you do have a choice, but your kid's going to be the one having to compete with a bunch of superhuman freaks, basically. This is like a horrific future that I worry about for my children and my grandchildren, because they're going to have to grapple with these sorts of issues way more than I will have to in my life.
Very true. And if a couple wants to use this technology, they have the right to use it. Great question. The short answer is that genetics is just one piece of the puzzle, right? So, you know, people kind of already know that there's nature and nurture, and nature is just one piece of what makes you, you. You can think of it almost as another tool that parents are going to use to give their child the best start in life. Yes, it is safe and it does work. We actually just had our first customer use it, which is super, super exciting. This science is based off of basically a decade of high-power, peer-reviewed research that we use to make these predictions. And also, you know, if you think about adult DNA and embryo DNA, right, they're actually the same, right? Because obviously we all begin from our DNA from mom and dad, and that's an embryo, which then multiplies into older cells in our body. And so you can actually use the models developed in adults in human embryos. And so that's what we do.
Just a clump of cells, but also the blueprint for a human. Okay. This clip, I guess from the TV show Girls, has been going viral on Twitter and everyone's talking about it. Let's check it out.
No, I can't go for a run.
God, am I allowed to show this on YouTube? Hold on. Let me skip ahead a little bit here.
Or use a tampon or have intercourse for like a week.
Are you
It would be really lame if they got taken down for that, because they have all these movies on YouTube that you can rent that have like nudity in them. How does that make sense, by the way? Why is that allowed?
what?
Yeah, just a couple of things I can't do because I had an abortion yesterday.
Was it mine?
Yeah, of course it was yours. didn't want to talk about it beforehand. I just wanted to do it. But I haven't shared with boyfriends in the past. I'm trying to be more open with you.
So you're trying to be open with me. How many abortions have you had?
I'm not going to share that with you because that is private. I'm not going to ask you how many girls you've gotten pregnant.
None. It's not private. I've gotten no girls pregnant except for you now.
Oh, they're heavily censored. I wouldn't actually know because I've never like rented a movie on YouTube. I think I've watched one or two where it was like free with ads, but I'm not sure that I actually saw nudity. They did. Pretty sure we watched like Elves. There's like I had a tradition of like streaming a movie for my last day before my Christmas vacation, and both of those were on YouTube. We watched Look Who's Back, the Hitler movie, the first year. That was really good. And then last year we watched Elves on YouTube, and that definitely had nudity in it, but it wasn't like, it was somebody had just uploaded it. It wasn't like a official rent this year kind of thing.
Who fucking went with you?
My friend Sue Ellen Garth.
I don't even know her.
You'll meet her. She's a somnambulist.
Who did it? Who aborted you?
A doctor named Gunita did the procedure. She delivered my cousin's baby.
Was it a boy or a girl?
My cousin's baby's a girl.
No! Ours!
It was a ball of cells. It was smaller than a seed pearl. It didn't have a penis or a vagina.
Isn't this a decision?
Right. It didn't have a penis or a vagina, but it did have a genetic code that you could look at, and well, people who know how to could, and could tell you if it was a boy or a girl.
That people typically make together.
So you wanted a baby?
Maybe.
That's kind of absurd. We've been together for less than 7 weeks. I don't think that we're ready for a child.
Crazier things have happened. People do crazy things. My parents got married after a fucking week.
Okay, so we should have the baby and put it in your toolbox as a cradle and feed it sardines and tell it that you don't know my middle name?
It's Rose!
No, my first name is
Philip
Amy Rose.
Heisler sent $5.
Thank you, Philip Heisler. I'm totally on the guy's side here with his reaction. It's really is fucking insane that to do that without telling the guy. Of course, that happens all the time now, but I'm just totally on the guy's side here.
Middle name is Eleanor.
I don't understand how you could do something like that without talking to me first.
By the way, it's funny how it's like, oh, we can have sex for 7 weeks straight without you knowing my middle name, and that's fine. But having a baby is a bridge too far. People take sex just way too casually.
It's evil.
You're right, you don't understand.
Is he supposed to be the bad guy in that scene? It is evil. There was a look at this. This happened to me, but worse scenario. We agreed to have a baby, got pregnant, and she aborted it 2 months into the pregnancy against my adamant wishes. I left her and haven't spoken to her since. I still think of it all the time. Terrible times. That's fucking crazy. Like we were talking about this with Tomath, talking about his 70 abortions or whatever. And I was saying like, if, oh God, not that again.
Did you watch the AP debate with Jay Dyer? Dyer basically admits to being pro-monarchy. Yarvin and Dyer are on the same page.
Who is AP? What is the AP debate? I don't know what that is. I've come around a lot on monarchy though. You know, the Stone Choir, they've convinced me we need the godly prince. I used to think that was insane, and I still see like there's obvious drawbacks and downsides to monarchy, which is arguably part of the reason it fell out of favor so much everywhere. But you know, obviously like having a good, competent and benevolent and righteous king would be so much superior to this retard democracy that I no longer make fun of the monarchy bros. It's not going to happen either way, so it's all kind of theoretical. So, you know, the discussion about if you get a girl pregnant and then she aborts the baby without telling you, what I always say is like, you, like as a man, you bear responsibility, some responsibility for allowing that to happen. And you should feel guilty that you allowed that to happen. Essentially, you can't just put all the blame on the woman who you chose to jizz inside. But this is like, this is different. This is like they were planning it. They agreed to it. They were trying for it. And then she killed the baby anyways. This is as close as you can get to being totally innocent in this scenario. Feel really bad for this guy. FBI discovers cache of guns, armor, and Nazi paraphernalia while raiding home in Washington State. It's my state. This tweet got 4 million views. He said, why are the flags creased? Why are the flags always creased? And as you can see here, the Nazi flags look like they were just taken out of the box that morning or whatever. I'm not saying that means it's like a Fed opera. You guys know how skeptical I am of the conspiracy brain shit, but it is a little weird.
We have more disturbing news out of the state of Washington now. Law enforcement say they discovered a cache of weaponry and armor, including machine gun and grenade launchers, along with Nazi paraphernalia during a raid of a home. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office says his office helped Army and FBI agents as they executed a search warrant in Lacey, that's near Olympia, as a result of a violent robbery and theft of military weaponry and armor at
literally my neck of the woods. I'm going to Lacey soon to take my dog to get shots.
Base Lewis McCord Sunday. The sheriff's statement said 2 people were arrested and booked into Thurston County Jail for investigation of firearms.
I got to geolocate this, go find the guy and talk to I should track this guy down and interview him.
Related offenses. The suspects identified in this case were actively involved in Nazi white nationalist efforts. That's according to the sheriff there. As you can see in these pictures, the sheriff said agents seized about 35 guns.
Sent $3 that looks an awful lot like the door behind you. What's going on, big guy?
Low key, I wish. I low key wish I had that kind of weapon collection,
including short barrel rifles and an MG-42 machine.
Deep state
gun, all
activity.
Surrounded by Nazi paraphernalia.
They don't name the suspect, notably, right? And like they don't say who the person is. GOPs keep telling us these guys are not a threat. Well, it's actually legal to own weapons, I guess. Did he even say it? But I guess the problem is, oh, by the way, look at this. Cache of weaponry, in quotes, CASH. Is that like, are they doing the sick, you know, the SIC thing? Cache. It's not, it's CACHE, guys. Come on. So they don't tell us who the suspects are, which is kind of strange. And they barely even mentioned what the crime was.
Tariff, right?
Hold on.
China
We have more disturbing news out of the state and grenade launchers, along with Nazi paraphernalia during a raid of a home.
Does he even say what the crime is?
Sheriff's Office says
I gotta
his
pay
office
attention
helped
this
Army
time.
and FBI agents as they executed a search warrant in Lacey, that's near Olympia, as a result of a violent robbery and theft of military weaponry and armor at Joint Base Lewis McCord Sunday.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so they went to the base, apparently armed by the sounds of it. He said violently. They violently robbed military equipment. It's hard to know exactly what the word violently means in that sentence, but okay. So that is illegal. You can't go rob the military. But again, it's weird that they don't tell us who the suspects are. But we'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. Elon Musk's estranged transgender son, Vivian Jenna Wilson, shows off his feminine dance moves. Perfectly normal, perfectly natural. I saw a funny tweet about this. The guy said, like, do you think it's occurred to him yet how he like gave up the world's greatest inheritance to do this? This guy was literally, and the thing is we know Elon, based on the way Elon has treated like Ashley St. Clair and the way Elon has talked about his son, saying like he's dead, they killed my son, he's dead. We know Elon, like you're not just gonna get a fair share or your equal share of the inheritance. You know what I mean? So this guy really gave up like literally billions of dollars probably just to be mad at his dad. And in more transgender mental health news, this guy here was a volunteer feeding the homeless, and you're never going to believe what happens next.
Hey, asshole! Can you do something about...
Yeah, I'm sure he still gets money, but he's getting like a little fraction, you know, of what he would have gotten, similar to like how Ashley St. Clair is getting way less money because she opened her mouth.
The fucking people are out here about to fucking assault me? Can you wake the fuck up and use your fucking eyes, please? Can I have the same liberty as everyone else?
I'm not the police. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No way.
Now you can call the police, this guy says. Perfectly normal, perfectly natural. Look at how long this line is. Imagine being like the guy next in line and you see the pizza get knocked on the ground. I can't really see what happened, but I like to imagine the pizza got totally flipped over and just landed in the dirt. And then these guys who are next in line are just like, no. Or I guess it'd be more like, she. So if you didn't catch the grievance, this guy, the transgendered individual, was like in line, I guess, waiting for food, and somebody, I'm not going to say if it was the blacks or the whites or who, but somebody was, you know, making fun of him for being a homo. And then he came and like spurred out at the guy handing out the food, being like, aren't you going to do something?
Hey, asshole! Can you do something about the fucking people are out here about to fucking assault me?
Hey, asshole! He screams. Hey, asshole! These people are insulting me. Hey, asshole! What are you gonna do about the people insulting me? Perfectly normal, perfectly natural.
Can you wake the fuck up and use your fucking eyes, please? Can I have the same liberty as everyone else?
I'm not the police. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No way.
Shit. Man jumps wall to marry Kai Trump.
New tonight, President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club on Palm Beach is federally protected.
Yeah, that was a chimp out. That was, I wouldn't go as far as calling that person white because they look pretty like, I don't know. I closed the tab. Okay, should we do a phenotype check? Hold on.
Hey, assault me? Can you wake the fuck up?
Yeah, it looks kind of Hispanic, but even if it was white, that would just be an example of the rare white chimpo, which barely even counts because it's a troon. Yeah, South American. But if you're trans, you've like transcended racial categorization at that point anyways. You know what I mean? Because you're not representative of like white people if you're a troon. The reason white people troon out is to like escape their whiteness, mostly because they've been so much bombarded with propaganda about how like the white identity is evil young white people who go trans. They're doing that to like get away from their own identity. Anyway.
By the United States Secret Service. But that didn't stop a Texas man who was arrested overnight for scaling the walls of the exclusive resort in search of the president's granddaughter. Our Luli Ortiz joins us outside the Palm Beach County Jail tonight with more on his bizarre proposal. Luli?
Yeah, this Texas man remains behind bars here after he admitted to police he climbed over the walls surrounding Mar-a-Lago to marry the president's 18-year-old granddaughter and to spread the gospel. And apparently this is not the first time he was caught trespassing. Palm Beach police arrested this man, Anthony Thomas Reyes, a 23-year-old from Texas, after they say he entered the president's Mar-a-Lago property without an invitation. It was a little after midnight when he was found by federal agents. During questioning, he told police he wanted to spread the gospel to POTUS and marry Kai. Kai Trump is the president's granddaughter who just turned 18.
Grandpa, you are such an inspiration.
She caught the nation's attention when she spoke in support of her granddad at the 2024 Republican National Convention. Security breaches like this raise concerns about protection for high-profile individuals. We spoke with a former Secret Service agent, Timothy Miller.
It does not appear at the
Texan man. I have a hottish take on this. I have a theory. I have a fan theory about this. Okay, so this guy broke into Mar-a-Lago, got caught by Secret Service, said he was there to marry Kai Trump and to spread the gospel to the president. They don't mention anything about him having a ring, an engagement ring. They don't mention anything about him having a Bible. This is just a story he gave after he got caught. I think he went in there to rape Kai Trump. That's what I think. I think he's mad about the deportations of his cousins or some shit like that. And he went in there to do a little raping, and they caught him before he could get away with his crime. And then he came up with this lame story about how he's there to spread the gospel and propose marriage. And then, of course, the media is just running with that with no scrutiny because it's so quirky and weird.
This point that he was there.
And that was Manny, by the way. So good luck, Manny. We'll be rooting for you as you go through the justice system.
Hurt anybody. Nevertheless, it's still a big problem for the Secret Service when anyone tries to gain unauthorized access into the Mar-a-Lago facility.
As investigators review how Reyes managed to gain access, Miller says they will conduct an after-action review, and that's to assess security procedures and prevent future incidents.
The Secret Service has what's called concentric circles of protection. A wall is not the security, it's a piece of the security. It's important to realize there are technical measures, cameras, drones, but then there are also physical measures, dogs, and the ability of agents to get there quickly, efficiently, and stop the threat.
Reyes has attempted to enter Mar-a-Lago before. He was issued a warning for trespassing on last New Year's Eve. The president was home at the time. Reyes remains behind bars here on a $50,000 bond, and according to court records, he pleaded not guilty. In West Palm Beach, I'm Luli Ortiz.
Okay, couple little pieces of black news for you today. Not a big segment, but a couple little videos here, starting with this woman who's mad that people don't want her buying Pepsi with her food stamps.
Trump need to shut the hell up and sit down some fucking way, because when I get my food stamps, I buy food with my food stamps. I like to buy Pepsi because that's what I drink. Pepsi. I buy 2-liter Pepsis every time I go to the mall.
Yeah, $50K bond for breaking into Trump's, but $10 million if you flamethrower the Jew walk in Boulder, Colorado. 10. I mean, did that guy kill a guy? They charged him with murder, but it was never clear that he actually even killed anyone. Boulder, Colorado, flamethrower death. It's 12 injured. I've never seen anything about anybody dying, but just that they charged him with murder, which is and a federal hate crime. And they gave him $10 million bail. Anyway. You know, injuring 12 people is probably a little bit more serious than trespassing, but you get the idea. You know,
and
I'm right.
Like snacks. I like to snack. The kids like to snack. So who is you to tell us that we can't buy Pepsis and sodas with our stamps? We should be able to get what the hell we want to get with our food stamps. Now you want to cut everything and talk about we could just buy food. So we supposed to spend money to buy the sodas and the
I'm amazed there's no chirp in this clip.
snacks. Just to have sodas and Kool-Aid and snacks.
The landlord must have come by recently.
The adults and the children. When will this take effect? Because I better not get messed up for June. I need everything. I want to buy everything with my food stamps. Trump needs to...
Oh, and you just know this person has like a whole like gaggle of kids running around the place, just feral children running around. I saw a Devin Stack tweet where he said something like comments on the Hypocrite Telegram. I don't know how to do that. Could somebody... I guess I could look it up. I wasn't too worried about it now because I didn't really have any followers, but I got like 4,000 followers on Telegram now, so maybe it's time to turn on the comments. I'll look into it. Telegram's weird. You have to like have a separate page for comments or something. Anyway, Devin Stack was saying that if you're on welfare for 3 years, you should be sterilized at that point. Which I think is harsh but fair. I think that's probably a fair policy. Just another day in safe, beautiful, vibrant Minneapolis. This is an interesting one because this is where the police say that they're going to let you steal cars and drive dangerously, and they're just going to let you do that, basically. Listen to this.
Stolen Kia whips multiple U-turns in the middle of city blocks. At one point, pulling right in front of a cop car and taking off again.
You know, we're like, oh, there's the Kia boys.
Rideshare driver Travis Joseph caught some of it on his dash cam just before 7 on Tuesday morning.
And the most shocking part was the cops were sitting there and they didn't move a muscle.
Police Chief Brian O'Hara says his officer followed department policy.
If it's simply a stolen car and there are no other crimes, there's no firearms involved, no threats of violence, if an individual is trying to just bait the officer into a pursuit, it's not going to get safer. I'm saying the cops did their job. Whether they felt frustrated by it or not, the cops did their job because it is just not worth the risk of endangering everyone's lives, especially if at the end result, we arrest a couple juveniles, we bring them downtown, and they're immediately released. It is completely senseless.
Watch.
This is the anarcho-tyranny people like to talk about. Kids stealing cars, doing donuts in the middle of the street dangerously, and the cops literally just sitting there and being like, what are you gonna do? No, it's just a stolen car. I mean, driving dangerously and doing donuts in the middle of the street, I would presume that's a crime in addition to where you're already endangering people. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if you were to arrest these people, if you were to chase them down and arrest them, you would find additional crimes. You would find probably some guns involved, probably some drugs, probably other crimes. But you have to actually do your job and arrest the criminals. Although then when he says how they just get released anyways, then you can sympathize with their position a little bit. But obviously that's a huge fucking problem too. That's just, two wrongs don't make a right. The whole system's fucked. Alex Rosen, this is the wife of Jason, who we just arrested an hour ago. She said this is who she sent this to, who she thought was an 11-year-old girl. So this is the pedo's wife. Do you know that Jason is happily married with 2 kids? Stop messaging him. I see you are messaging my husband. Do you know he has a daughter the same age as you? You are an 11-year-old kid talking to a grown man. So the wife knows her husband's a pedo, but doesn't like call the police or anything. And this is common, Alex Rosen says, which I'm sure it probably is.
This is Jason Cooper of Terre Haute, Indiana. This one was a special one because his wife knew that he was talking to this 11-year-old girl. She didn't necessarily condone it, but she was aware of it, and he just told him to stop. And she even messaged our decoy account saying, "How dare you talk to him? He's my husband, blah, 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 blah." And despite all that, despite blatantly cheating, I know a lot of them do anyway, against her wishes, he still came to go meet her. He took an hour Uber across state lines to Danville, Illinois. They take pedophiles a little more seriously than Terre Haute does, hence the Uber ride. And yeah, currently he's getting arrested for indecent solicitation of a...
That's funny. Alex Rosen is such a pro. He knows what jurisdictions will actually like arrest the pedos, and then he gets them to drive there to come get arrested. You gotta love this guy.
Minor.
One of the good ones.
Pornography, but there's none on his phone. He kind of looked through it for us. And racking up another one. Illinois is surprisingly one of the best states to catch pedos in outside of Chicago. So.
Captive Dreamer's brother is a pedo? That's news to me. I did not know that. This TikToker spars with random fans every day until someone knocks him out, and today he went up against Andrew Tate.
I'm gonna fucking throw a punch, man. Oh, fuck!
I almost punched him right into the fucking... the car, whatever kind of car that is. I'm not a car guy, I don't know.
Oh!
It looks expensive.
1, 2, 3.
Captive Dreamer brothers killed cats. Are you guys are sounds like you're talking about Hanania. I know Hanania's brother had some fucked up shit. It was a junkie who did some weird shit.
4, get up. 5, 6, 7, 8, box.
Fuck, man.
Fuck, man. What is on his face? Is that can't be real facial hair, right? That's like marker or something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get up. 6, 7, 8, 9. Center ring. Box.
He's clear. It's funny how they're like, get up, box. Like he's clearly done. He clearly knows he doesn't have a chance. He's getting his shit kicked in, but they're just like, keep going.
Almost. Almost. Oh.
Tate looks gay. He looks feminine. I'm sure you guys would, if you were there, you would show him a thing or two. If only you were there fighting him instead. Can't they afford it back yet? They probably wanted to show off their cars or something. It's kind of a weird place to fight though. He runs inside.
That's okay, money. Time is money too. Come on, champ. I believe in you. I believe in you, champ. Face your opponent. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Yeah, Tate is obviously not going 100% here.
Good. One, 2.
Tate versus Gypsy Crusader. My money would be on Tate. I would love to see Tate do like a real fight with some like Tate versus Jake Paul boxing. That would be fucking awesome, dude. That would just be a win-win. You know what I mean? Because like whoever wins, it's like so bad for the other person. You just get to enjoy it either way. You get to revel in somebody else's pain, no matter who wins or loses in that. I wish they would do that. I wish Jake Paul and Andrew Tate would box. Gypsy would walk Tate. I kind of doubt it, but I know he's a fighter, but I just kind of doubt it. I'd be down to watch that, obviously. I know the Golden One challenged Andrew Tate to a fight. And then I didn't know if he was going to see it on Twitter, so I DM'd him and was like, "Hey man, the Golden One, he's a good guy. He's an honorable man. This would be like a cool fight. You should think about doing it." Because I just want to see people fight. But, people I know. I want to see people I know fight. But Tate never replied to that DM from me. All right. Dave Portnoy. Everybody talking about Dave Portnoy again on Twitter last couple days. Everybody making fun of him ruthlessly. It all starts with him in Canada doing a pizza review and some bystander yells, "Fuck the Jews."
So he's calling this old school terrazza. One bite, everybody knows the rules. We didn't get here the first time. Place is very cool on the inside. We got Frankie Lasagn's whole story, which almost seemed borderline not believable. Like, see, there we go. There we go. What are you guys fucking laughing about? Terrible. Exactly.
Terrible. Then they all laugh, and then the guy's like, "Terrible. Oh, what a shame." That's so funny. Those kids are good. Bless those kids. That's hilarious. He should have just... it was really the "why are you laughing" that got the reaction on Twitter and all that. If he had just been like, "There you go," and then just went back to his thing, if he had just ignored the laughing, I don't think people would have been cared. But Twitter is ruthless. You can't show that you're shook in any way, shape, or form. You can't show any kind of weakness.
See, there we go. There we go. What are you guys fucking laughing about? Terrible. Exactly. So here we go. One bite, everybody knows the rules. We won't let that get...
He tried to hold it together.
What is that Toronto hospitality there? Terrible.
What is that Toronto hospitality? He kind of tried to not make too big, but it was too late. Twitter was on it. I'm sending everyone who laughed to Auschwitz. Bro threatening to ruin every Zoomer's life. I laughed at this vid and my bank just called and told me my accounts are frozen. Let's go into the quote tweets here. Wurzelroot. LMFAO, all his Zoomer audience laughs as someone yells "fuck the Jews" at him, forcing him to break character and reveal he isn't a fun, silly Irish Bostonian pizza bro at all, but a rich Jewish guy ready to send your ass to Auschwitz for anti-Semitism. What the fuck you laughing about? You want an all-expense-paid trip to Auschwitz? Jeremy Kaufman says, "As a Jew, I hereby grant a worldwide universal irrevocable J pass to shout 'fuck the Jews' at Dave Portnoy." Kittler, he said "fuck the Jews" and you're laughing? This guy, future Moldovan citizen, who I swore had me blocked and I had him blocked. So I don't know if he changed his account or what. But he says, "This is the definition of low IQ anti-Semitism. What is the purpose of yelling 'fuck the Jews' at a Jewish person? It's not even low IQ anti-Semitism. This is the racism imagined by liberals that shouldn't even exist." Well, look, it's actually a reference. It goes back to what happened at his club where people paid for a "fuck the Jews" sign to be carried around the club, which he then totally lost his shit over. So it's a reference to that because somebody did that and he went postal and was like, "I'm sending you to Auschwitz," and everyone made fun of him. That's why they're saying it to him, because if you show that people can get a reaction out of you, then they're going to do it, which is why he tried to like contain himself in this clip. But, you know, people just hate this guy now. So they're just going to go after him for any reason he gives them. Dave Portnoy will be telling his grandchildren the story of a vicious anti-Semite tried to murder him during a pizza review. Oh man, look at how he's slightly shaken when someone comes up to him while he's doing his job and tells him his ethnic group sucks. Totally owned. Even Pericles says, "You don't get the reference." You're right. They should just thrown a penny at him to see if he would pick it up. Oh, Nick Fuentes, Bronze Age warriors when a Jewish person gets heckled. Jake Shields, it's funny because they know Dave will freak out and try to send them to Auschwitz. Yeah, exactly. It's funny because it's Dave. If you did that to, like, you know, Alex Rosen or Danny Polshuk, I wouldn't think it was very cool. If you did it to Dave Smith, I wouldn't think it was very cool. So then he goes on his podcast and he talks, and this is where things get really bad. If you think people were making fun of him for that, wait until you see what happens next.
I think right now you probably
nothing.
Don't do
nothing. Silence everything.
What do you?
Every comedian, don't tell a joke about it. Because Dave, that's how the world works. I agree with you.
Go back to your question. When does freedom of speech impinge
That was your
on freedom
question,
of
not
religion?
mine. That was your question. Not
Answer
mine.
it.
How many deaths?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
Like how in America, American citizens.
What's your answer to that question?
Now.
Okay, we're there. Now. So now what? So now what do we do?
So maybe you stop with the fucking Jew jokes and act like it's not a big deal when someone does "fuck the Jews" in a bar.
Or no, here's the thing. I'm with you 1,000% on that. You should fucking kick those people out. Of course you should.
I'm not talking about kicking them out. I'm talking about.
You want to go to jail? Like, what do you want? Like, those guys.
You are defending this guy Mick for what he said right after that happened. He's not anti-Semitic.
I'm not defending him. No,
if your brain goes in,
I'm not defending him, Dave. What I'm saying is, you should have him on here or somebody else like that and fucking fight with them, because then you have a conversation.
That's what this idiot wants.
Dave, these guys that wrote the thing at the bar, "Fuck the Jews," right?
Yes.
You're gonna fucking fly them to Auschwitz. Some guy tweets you something. You want to fucking? He's not.
Kirk,
you can't come on
it was
for
a bar
5
I
minutes?
owned. It was a bar I owned.
They should have been kicked out. So, but my thing is,
no,
like,
it's not just kick out, Kirk. Are you ignoring what's going on in the world?
No,
right
I'm
now?
not. What, Dave? What do you want to do to those guys? What do you want to do?
It's related?
What do you want to do with those guys at the bar? Put them in jail for 50 years? Fine. I don't care.
I didn't
they're
say
assholes.
that. You're quite literally changing everything you say, Kirk. If you just want me to kick him out, not mention it, not care that this kid is anti-Semitic, shut up. If you just want me to ignore it,
don't tell me to shut up.
Shut the fuck up, you bald fuck.
Okay, go ahead.
How's that?
Oh, it's kill. I'll never recover from that, Dave. Go ahead, continue. I'll never recover.
Well, you're the one who big boss man. Don't tell. I'll tell you work for me.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
You little bitch. You work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now.
Oh, you
continue.
don't? For now, quit. I don't care.
Is this show or not a show? Like, is it a show or not a show? Like, we can't have a conversation?
You're an idiot.
Okay, continue.
You're literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want right fucking now. That's
yes, I think people should be allowed to make jokes.
So how many motherfucking Jews have to be killed before you stop?
Then I don't think.
What else?
About 5.7.
Where else is that happening with the religion or people?
I don't think those psychopaths, I'm with you, they're scumbags, are the worst people on the earth. Should that?
You don't think it's all related?
But Dave, you're telling a comedian not to make a joke?
It's not a comedian.
I'm with you, but you said stop all jokes.
Jew jokes of that nature now.
We'll ban Jew jokes of that nature. We'll get the Constitution, we'll get Congress, and stop Jew jokes of that nature.
I'll go back to this.
Yeah.
When does freedom of speech impinge on freedom of religion?
I don't think freedom of speech should.
Pretty sure Dave Portnoy is not religious. Like that's such a cop out. And this is like freedom of religion is like one of the most abused concepts where people just think they can just be like, oh, well, my religion is like having sex with children. So now I have freedom to do that because freedom of, you know what I mean? Freedom of religion is just like, most people don't even begin to understand it as a concept. And whenever people bring it up, they're pretty much always trying to abuse it, like Dave Portnoy is doing here, who I doubt this. When's the last time you think he went to synagogue? You know, this is a dude who like gambles, is pro porn, pro weed, pushes that filth on his massive audience, gets rich from pushing filth on people. And now he wants to hide behind, like, you can't make fun of me because of my religion.
I think freedom of speech is the most important thing in this country.
Okay, so people can go kill the Jews, and there's no responsibility if someone goes and kills Jews.
No, that's a crime if you kill somebody.
No, but not saying, hey, go kill Jews.
That's different. No. What do you mean?
You can say somebody should go kill Jews. You don't do it, but someone hears you and goes do it. You're fine with it?
And again, here it's like changing, like somebody conflating, right? Somebody making a joke, somebody saying fuck the Jews with saying, hey, somebody else should go kill Jews for real. I'm serious. Those are obviously like two different things. And probably legal in both cases, generally speaking. There can be, you know, there are some laws about inciting violence, but the standard is a lot higher for that than most people realize. It's not just like you can't say this. It's like you can't say this in a situation where a reasonable person would think that somebody would immediately act upon it. Which is like a pretty high bar to reach, legally speaking.
If somebody says, go kill Jews?
Yes.
No, that's different than telling. I thought we were talking about telling a Jew.
But, you know, I think most people would find, like, a lot of people who would defend distasteful jokes and that would not defend somebody being like, hey, somebody should go kill the Jews, right? So legally you might be able to get away with it, but most people are going to be like, yeah, you shouldn't say that, you know?
Joke. I thought we were talking about comedians.
They are all using semantics for anti-Semitism right now. And I can tell the difference because for 20 years of doing it, I've never mentioned it, Kirk.
No.
Also, legally, you might not get away with it, so it's probably better not to test it out.
And I said to you when this thing happened a couple
how
weeks ago,
can you not realize we're in a different time right now?
I completely realize, and I'm sensitive to the fact that you're sensitive, and I feel bad.
No, you're not. You don't get it.
That's not true. I am sensitive to it. What I'm saying is, it's a fine line. I think you would agree. I think you would agree. So maybe you don't. That when you start harnessing free speech and what can be said and what can't be said,
I'm not saying throw any of these people in jail. You want me to give this kid a pass?
No. If you want, no. What I would like you to do, in my mind, this is why I pitched it to the producers, and you disagreed, and you are the boss. Like I said to you yesterday, it's your dime. You own the company. I thought it would be interesting to have somebody on who you disagree with, who I think at the end you wouldn't disagree with that much, have a conversation, which is what I thought you were trying to do. Hold on one second.
Nick Fuentes.
Which I thought you were trying to do with bring these guys to Auschwitz, trying to have a conversation.
The gay Joker sent $3. This gay Jew guy is crashing out harder than Batman did when I released the gay virus into the Gotham water supply.
Thank you, gay Joker. Always nice to hear from you. Know you're still around. Yeah, working for this guy must suck. He probably if this is how he treats his employees on camera, imagine how he must treat them behind the scenes.
Conversation. So you put a name in the face of somebody you disagree with and have an actual conversation.
Yeah, he doesn't appear very smart. He appears very emotional. Dan Bilzerian says, Portnoy is such a whiny fucking pussy. It's shocking to listen to him continue to cry and play the victim when he's always the asshole. And so then after that, those clips went viral and everybody's shitting on him on Twitter. Then he put out this statement, which Chief Trumpster says he's doing damage control, but continues to whine about jokes.
All right, real quick. I got a conference, but this rant, I'm going viral per use, trending on Twitter. That's what this guy does. I open my mouth and it just goes everywhere. I know it, clip, that's the deal. The latest one, me and Kirk from Unnamed, me yelling at Kirk, and you got everyone, oh, how could Dave ever talk to his employees like that? And fat boy Jason Whitlock, oh, he's evil. And Des Bryant, does he run like an offshore gambling company or something? He's like, don't ever, how can you talk to your employees like that? These guys just shut up and mind your business. Welcome to Barstool, all right? This is how we talk to each other back and forth, especially Kirk and I. So just shut up. Shut up. Those people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is about the bigger thing. And again, clips, what we talk about, taken out of context. Now I'm seeing, oh, Dave wants to throw people in jail for Jew jokes, and Dave wants to, regulate Jew jokes. He's been this free speech guy, and remember, he sang that Ja Rule lyric 10 years ago and shit.
Mike Brown, the Colossal, consent $3. Chuck Steak is here, everybody. Everyone, please say hello to Chuck Steak.
Chuck Steak is there down in hell with you and George Floyd. Is that what you mean?
It's crazy. So
hello, Chuck Steak.
Let me just set the record straight because people just watch the little clips.
It did really come across like he wanted people to go to jail, or at the very least to be censored in some way. Like at the very least, he'd be like, you should not have social media accounts if you don't talk about Jews the way I want you to.
I was referring to, if you're making a Jew joke currently, right now, like after a bunch of Jews get Molotov cocktails thrown at them in Colorado, or after two Jews are gunned down.
Mr. sent $3. Is he having a contest with Rabbi Shmuley for who's the most repulsive loudmouth Jew?
Okay, my good, no comment.
Outside a Jewish museum, and your response is somehow it's like the Jew's fault or a veiled Jew joke. You're an anti-Semitic piece of shit. That's what this was about. This was about after Mo Khan held the "fuck the Jews" sign in my bar, and I kicked him out and tried to make an example of him.
So it's just cancel culture, basically. It's more cancel culture. Remember when this guy was selling the cancel culture hoodies?
A troll basically was saying, like, I have no right to talk about that or be mad about that. It's just a joke. I make jokes when a joke's illegal. Well, that's an anti-Semitic piece of shit. I'm not saying he should be in jail. I'm not saying put him in cuffs. I'm just saying that dude is an anti-Semitic piece of shit. If you can't tell the difference between fuck the Jews, which was not a joke, that was Mo Khan's thing, and you become Mo Khan and just be like, what, I can't joke anymore? Either way, freedom of speech. I'm fine with it. I've dealt with Jewish jokes for 20 years. Have you ever seen me talk about, oh, don't make Jewish jokes? No, I got thick skin. I don't give a fuck. People joke. People say dumb shit. People say sometimes funny shit. 20 years, I haven't mentioned it not once. Suddenly I'm mentioning it because I've noticed, in the Mo Khan thing brought it to a head, a real change in this country where it's just open season on the Jews. Now, where I do think freedom of speech, freedom of religion, is you have these protests where they're like saying, what is it, global jihad and globalize the intifadella, or whatever that word is. And they're saying from the river to the sea.
Intifada.
And they're holding Hamas-like flags and headbands and all this, saying kill the Jews and kill all Americans and all this shit. And guess what? People are starting to kill Jews in America, American citizens. They're throwing Molotov cocktails at them. They're gunning them down outside a Jewish museum. There's two other examples. One guy was outside a nursery school and was saying, I'm going to kill all these kids. Went to a gun store to buy a gun, all in the same motion, to go back. And he actually, thank God, they didn't give him the gun. He didn't pass it.
I didn't see that story. Yeah,
Chuck Steak sent $3. I tell ya. This Dave Portnoy's acting like such a baby. A bunch of rabbis just tried to suck him off.
Oh my goodness. It's funny how, like, all of these actual terrorists are Muslims and or like leftoid retards, but it's all the right wingers losing their Instagram accounts and their Facebook pages over the last few weeks.
The background check, and the clerk is literally like, this guy's muttering how he's going to go kill all these Jewish kids at a nursery school in America, in the United States of America, American citizens. So, yes, colleges and people and even politicians have coddled this speech to be like, well, it's speech, it's context. You literally, the University of Columbia, MIT, Harvard, I see there's a fucking flyer for a protest at like Bard College, which I guess is part of Columbia, literally had a guy throwing a Molotov cocktail on the poster. And then it happens like 2 weeks later. So yeah, I am a free speech guy. At what point, when people are literally saying, let's go kill the Jews, do you start to believe what they're saying in America? In America, American citizens. So I have a problem with that. Don't confuse the two things with some fucking troll being like, hey, Prez, you have a big nose or this or that. Yeah, if you're saying that right now, I think you're an anti-Semitic piece of shit in light of everything that's going around in this country. And go look at my comments on Twitter. Go look at Stool President and read under my name. You'll see how much fucking hate, how much vitriol is out there, and people trying to couch it, be like, oh, he's just mad for... And by the way, I don't care about those fucking people. I'm better than you. I've always been better than you. That's why I'm me and you're trolling and leaving comments under my thing. So I don't give a fuck about those people.
Man, it's hard to imagine why people don't like this guy.
I care very much about these protests where apparently you can get away now with saying let's kill Jews, and then people are going out and killing Jews. I'm not sure that's not related. I'm not sure when there's all this fucking anti-Semitic rhetoric ramping up, and people are just kind of looking the other way and feel comfortable to do it, that it doesn't end in tragedy with U.S. citizens getting killed. So, yeah, maybe when I hear from college administrators its context when you say global jihad, I'm taking a little more seriously now.
Cool. Look, this is the same clip, I think.
At what point, when people are literally saying, let's go kill the Jews?
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on, whatever. Asmongold started multi-streaming on Kick, and after 2 streams, he showed his earnings, which I guess are significantly more than what he earns on Twitch. $36,000 for 2 streams. So what, $18,000 per stream?
Two of them.
And you went and did roofing in the sun all day.
Oh my God!
For $150.
Oh no! Oh my God, bro!
How much does a roofer make?
What
Probably
is
a little more
this?
than that.
You don't know what, Panda? I did, bro. Like, somebody gotta show it. Somebody gotta say it. I know Tectone was talking about multiplicatives. I'm looking at numbers. I show you the fucking graph. You want to see the graph? We put it down. So there it is. That's 2 days. That's 2 motherfucking...
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of Twitch streamers looking at this and being like,
days. Oh my God. And that's not even being exclusive to Kick. That's insane, right? And so anyway, yeah, I think maybe that's why I was thinking about, like, yeah, donate $2,000 that time I die in Dark Souls. Like, it's not really a big deal.
dude, all my income comes from donos, and if I make like $100 on a stream, I'm very happy.
Oh, that's whatever. And yeah. And anyway, does that include the partner program? Yeah. Yeah, it does. And there it is. It shows everything. And estimated income, I think the monthly is estimated. No, it's not estimated. They show, let me see if I can show this. Let me go back and double check. Yes.
But so this is Twitch, right? $32,000, but this is for 210 hours worth of streams, however many streams that is. Look, it looks like about a month. Yeah, this looks like so basically he made more in 2 days on Kick than he made for a month on Twitch. And he literally just started streaming on Kick too, so he would have theoretically less of an audience, although I'm sure they promoted it on Kick.
I don't know if I can show this. Too bad.
2019 or 20? No, dude, it was like, it's almost 9 years now. You can just do the math based on the, it's about 50 episodes per year, or am I tripping? So we're on like 400 episodes divided by that's 8 years. Okay, so basically 8 years ago, give or take. I do 50. It's probably less than 50. It's probably more like 48 per year because I always miss a few Sundays. They were much shorter. That's
Mr.
true.
Bing Bong sent $3. I'm out here laying hot tar on a roof to keep LP fed.
Thank you, Mr. Bing Bong. The original YCSPs, like the first 5 episodes, actually had commentary. They were basically total ripoffs of This Week in Stupid, where I actually talked about them for like 5 episodes. And then after like 5 episodes, I was like, why am I talking about this shit? Like, if you can't figure this out, you're not going to make it to begin with. Like, I should just show people the shit and let them work it out on their own.
So there it is.
And you can find most of those old episodes on BitChute.
And that's so I'm making a bit more, right? Things are going to be a bit more, and I'm thinking that I think that, you know, we've had a really good couple of days here. It's been a bit, and this is also, keep in mind, by the way, this is also with my stream because we had so many people move over to the platform. As far as I know, on their back end, they are still fucked. That doesn't sound, that's probably not the right way to say that. But what I mean is that their system is overloaded from the amount of people that have signed up and started using the service. Okay, let me just go.
Most successful streamer alive, Asmongold, Asmonballer. Oh shit! It's, you know, the thing is like part of me when I watch him, I'm like, why this guy? What is so special about him? But I know part of the answer to that question is literally just the grind. Literally just he's been doing this for a super long time and he streams like 10 hours a day or whatever. Like he just streams so much. The Roach King. And then moving on to the Idubbbz thing, the last story here. So H3H3 did an interview with Idubbbz's former boxing coach, a guy called Coach Mike. And a lot of people have been talking about this, saying that like it's really bad.
$3. The sign is bad, profanity is sinful, but if you can take the heat, get it out of the oven.
Thank you, Gen Y. Is profanity sinful? I guess it probably
Donald
is.
Trump sent $3. Dave Portnoy, what a huge faggot, the biggest faggot of all. I hereby revoke all support and connection to Israel, the land of blues.
Thank you,
America
Donald Trump.
first from now on, my niggas.
Thank you, Donald Trump. That's great to hear. Glad I could help with that. So they're talking to his, and people are saying like this was like absolutely humiliating. I thought about trying to watch the whole interview, but it's like 2+ hours on the H3. They talked to this guy for like 2 hours. So I decided to just pull up the clips, the best clips that were being posted, mostly from this Yeet account here who does streamer drama. And one of the things they showed was when Idubbbz saw the thumbnail for the H3 podcast that he was coming on, and we have the thumbnail right here. So this was the thumbnail exposed by Coach, and then this is the Coach here, and you have Anissa. Idubbbz saw that before the stream went live, and he texted his coach and said, "Hey, Michael, not sure if this is clickbait or not, but saw your face on H3 podcast thumbnail. Let me know if it's real and if you want to talk. I'm hoping it's just some clickbait because I'd be happy to talk if you had unresolved feelings about," and presumably me or Anissa. It's kind of cut off there. And when you hear what the coach has to say, like obviously they had bad blood between them. That becomes obvious when you hear what. So Idubbbz was probably freaking out when he saw like, oh shit, this guy who I really rubbed the wrong way, and also talked to a lot is going to go tell stories about me. So let's see what they had to say. He reveals that Eden and Anissa flew out a bunch of influencers and paid for an entire hotel for 300 plus of them plus parties during Creator Clash 2.
Details that you guys shared with me. For example, one being that I think it was you, Kate, that mentioned that he and Anissa did in fact pay for Hassan and all of his compadres to travel to and stay at Creator Clash 2.
Yes.
Yeah, so they were talking about...
So it was like a mixture of compadres and compatriots. Hassan and 300 of his closest friends got flown out for Creator Clash 2.
Another YouTube sent $250. Here's $1 for every
Yo.
CCP I've watched. I say it a lot, but thank you again for radicalizing me. And thank you for all the work you do. Go to all the Daily Copers.
Being white is the fucking greatest. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that. Massive dono. Another YouTube. Thank you very much. Damn. So Creator Clash 2, if you recall, was the one that bombed and they didn't make any money. And this is part of what rubbed people the wrong way a lot of behind the scenes, because they didn't raise any money for charity, but they spent so much money on this party and flying all these people out there because they wanted it to be like a big, impressive, gala full of like high profile celebrities like Hassan Piker.
That long before about how they had to fly in all these people. They were first of all, they rented the hotel for over 300 creators and flew a lot of them in. When the first year it was much more scaled back. We just had a couple floors of like some place, like a nice suite place, but it wasn't extravagant at all. And then the second year they did that full hotel for 300 creators. They flew a lot of people in. One of the people they flew in was Froggy Tonic, and they flew him in from France.
That's insane.
And Frog
flew him in from France. And I don't even recognize the guy. Robbie Tonic. What did they say?
Froggy Tonic.
Froggy Tonic?
One of the people they flew in was Froggy Tonic. And
does anybody know what he's saying? I can't. What is he saying? Floggy Tonic. Floggy Tonic. Froggy Tonic. It is Froggy Tonic. It's so much like Froggy Fresh. I didn't think it could be. Oh, this is that guy from the content cop who was like an editor for Idubbbz. So this is like a nobody. They flew him in from France using the Creator Clash money that was supposed to go to charity.
They flew him in from France.
That's insane.
And Froggy had told us that he was there to salvage the documentary.
Yeah.
And that was super offensive to us because we're like, what do you mean salvage the documentary? And he said his job was to go around and like film Anissa having interactions with everyone. So we didn't know if that meant they were going to make the second documentary about.
You can always tell like Anissa's fingerprints are all over this. So it's like they were making a documentary about Creator Clash, right? That was supposed to be part of the whole like business model. This YouTube people that hopefully 1 million plus people would watch. And she's like, we need to get them filming me talking to famous people at the gala. It's like all she actually cares about is her image, and it's so obvious, right?
Or the actual documentary about how like Anissa was responsible for the event, because she did put a lot of work in for the first event and she did put a lot of work in for the second, but at the same time in the first event she didn't get credit for it, so she felt like she deserved all the credit. So I think that's why they paid Froggy Tonic to come film her and follow her around for the second event. But yeah, they flew in a lot of people. They rented out the whole hotel for 300 creators. And when we asked them if Ian's dad was going to be there, because he was there for the first event, they said they couldn't afford to fly Ian's dad in. It was too expensive.
Yeah. I know. It's pretty sad. And Froggy Tonic told me directly, because I met him at the hotel, right, where we were all staying at in Tampa, for CCT.
H3's got to just be loving this. Imagine Idubbbz puts out a content cop on you trying to like ruin you, and then you just like set up an interview with like zero effort that is just 10 times worse. And trust me, I've seen some of the things we're going to get to. It's really embarrassing.
too. And he was like, "Oh, you're the videographer that has all the content of Ian sparring." And I said, "Yes, I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this documentary, but it never came out. So I heard that you're taking it over now and you're going to help with the editing." And that's when Froggy Tawny told me that, yeah, Ian and Issa brought out his whole crew from France.
His whole crew?
I think it was just him.
Well, he had a few people that were holding the cameras, his camera guys. Because the interesting thing was that usually when like someone is a videographer, they would be the one filming most of the time. But it was interesting to me that
he was just directing.
Yeah, he was more directing.
What this fucking guy thinks he's Spielberg?
Scorsese.
What the hell's going on?
Camera people with him.
And Harley was reacting to this. Harley Weinstein, is it Weinstein? The boxer, it's some kind of Stein, who dropped out of Creator Clash 2 and basically, you know, he went and did that Nicholas Diorio stream where he was giving like a bunch of the behind the scenes shit and basically heavily implied that Idubbbz and Anissa were using the charity thing, you know, to make money essentially, which we all know, but to have a guy involved in it, one of the top guys, one of the most famous guys come out and say that, Morenstein, thank you. So he reacts to the H3H3 stream with a setup that he modeled after Keemstar's Drama Alert as like a joke. Anissa was adamant about having certain people at their event. Somebody named Pokimane wants them to be there and be part of their group.
First year that like, because she would always talk about a certain group of people. It was like somebody named Pokimane and all these other people. And she would always talk about how she wants like them to be there and she wants to be a part of their group. So a lot of it, and then so that's why like, and then the first year was like during that girl's birthday party. So
no, sorry. Knowing that detail, it breaks my heart that she had to settle for denims.
Yeah. I don't even know these people, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the only people I really know in the YouTube world is you guys, because you guys were so nice to us. Like, we got more clout from being on your show than we ever did from working with Ian, because he would never show any of the work we did. He would never, and then everybody else, it drove me crazy. Like, AB would shout out his coach, Wale, Lucky Boy, and then
AB was AB was all about it, man. And
first year that like
okay, the reason why the coach was fired,
because then we went back to the hotel and then they were eating at Denny's and they said we need to have a meeting, so I have to go to Denny's, and they pretty much then talked about how they were going to have to fire me because I reminded Ian of his father when his father would yell at him as a kid. Because then we went.
So the boxing coach would yell at him, trying to toughen him up during training. And they were like, "This reminds me of my dad, so you're fired." Dude, imagine having this get aired out. Anissa talked shit about Ethan and Gila during Creator Clash 1. So this was back when they were still getting along. Supposedly, leaked story about Ian stinking up the room.
Yeah.
She's fine releasing everything, but she won't talk to him about it. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and
like I didn't
Hold
feel
on,
like
guys.
it was my
I gotta
place.
sit on that for a sec. He stunk up the gym so bad you had to move him away from people. Okay. Hold on. Let me just sit with that.
0.5 hotter, as if like he fucking his breath didn't stink all the time.
And now people are remembering. So you have this Howling Mutant tweet. How bad does he smell? At first it sounded like he just had some body odor, but now it's like he's some kind of insane homeless person. Is it because he shits himself? And there was a famous clip of Anissa on a podcast saying that he does shit himself or that he has like bowel issues. So now people, whether true or not, are thinking that Idubbbz goes around with shit in his pants, smelling bad.
Yeah, Yeah.
Another question. I heard that Anissa was talking shit about me and us even before Creator Clash 1.
Yeah, she had said, like,
The quartering isn't a bad midday alternative. He's more red pilled than he lets on, and his reach is huge. Okay, well, thanks for the quartering promo.
like I forget what she said, like, but she had said that she didn't like associating with you guys for some reason, but then like you had been doing better or something, so they were happy to go on your show. It was it was vague, but because she would talk, she would kind of talk poorly about a lot of different people, so it was easy to just lose track of it. But yeah, she definitely had mentioned like something about you and Hila, and like, or maybe it was just you, but somebody had done something that had offended her at one point. So she thought, so she felt like you guys weren't like good people or something. But then once you could do their show, but she loved AB and Lena. She always loved them. Yeah.
She would. So here's
There
the
you
thing.
go. Who doesn't love AB and Lena? To be
Yeah.
fair.
Good question,
To be fair, right? Who doesn't love AB and Lena?
Yeah, she wanted to get her Lebanese credit, so that's why she like loved so much.
She's trying to get her Lebanese credit up.
Yeah. He would always, because she would be like, they're Muslim and I'm Muslim.
Yeah, it's.
And I was like, everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is. I have Muslim fighters.
Yes.
They pray 5 times a day. They
don't touch women.
Like,
besides their wife.
They're a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand.
Right, Anissa pretends to be Muslim, but she does OnlyFans.
And like, but if they put their hand on, they're very respectful, right?
Ian and Issa were negative 500K weeks before Creator Clash 2, and then they spent all the money on the after party.
To dress nicely for the gala, that there would be pictures and such.
We found out it was a red carpet event, that they flew Getty images.
Oh, so Harley was actually on the stream, unless this is a separate interview.
In for. So they straight up flew Getty images to take pictures for the event. But
they're the only. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, when we asked them about,
But I gotta say, I'm kind of digging clean shaved with a big mustache Harley compared to like when he had the beard or whatever. I think this is kind of like a good look for him with the sunglasses, like he had a little glow up.
Flew Getty images to take pictures for the event. But
they're the only. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, when we asked them about it, and I said, "Hey, is there a gala?" And they said, "Oh, you guys don't even worry about it. You don't have to go to that." And I said, "What?" This is what
they weren't invited.
Anissa said. And I said, "What?" And I said, "Well, some of the sparring partners got invited." And she said, "I don't know how they got on that list. They weren't supposed to be on the list." And in my mind, I'm like, Ian had invited them. He sent them the email personally.
What
right?
a disgusting human being she seems to be. I'm sorry.
Oh, she didn't want any of us there. She only wanted like creators there, or people that would, I guess, make her feel like she could get more clout. So she told us we didn't have to come to the event. She doesn't know why we would want to be at the event. And I said, "What's the event for?" And she said, "And it's an award show." And I said, "What are the awards for?" And she said, "They're awards for the boxing." And I said, "Why wouldn't his coach want to be there? Why wouldn't his team want to be there?" I was like, that makes no sense. So everybody else, all the other coaches I talked to, I said, "Hey, did you guys know about the gala?" They
Idubbbz was so good back in the. I was thinking about this morning as I was, because I always imagine like people be like, "Why do you talk about Idubbbz so much?" Which, you know, I do talk about him a lot, and so does everybody else. Which I can kind of understand not giving a shit. But he was the fucking man back in the day on YouTube when this was like the small clique of these big YouTubers like Idubbbz, H3H3, PewDiePie, Markiplier, you know, Filthy Frank. It was like a small group of elites. And Idubbbz was like the man because he was the one who went around taking scalps of other YouTubers. His fall off is just so legendary that we just can't stop observing it. We have to study this. This is we have to know how to not let this happen to ourselves. Of course, we all also know what happened, which is he got involved with a really diabolical woman.
He said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you bring a suit for it?" And all of them had freaking like 3-piece suits with like kerchiefs and everything. I had sweatpants. I'm like, "What?"
Dude, that's so messed up. Why? It's like you're the guy connected with the event organizers, and they're explicitly excluding you guys.
I know why. I honestly believe that the reason why Ian and Nisa excluded us and did not want us to know about the gala is because we're both very professional, we're both very direct and very transparent. If they told us that they were going to throw a huge gala after the fight and it was going to cost a ton of money, we would have asked them, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
because Anissa already told us, she shared with us prior to CC2, like a month before, that they were negative, was it 500K already?
Yeah, at the
Whoa,
time.
whoa, hold on.
Yeah, that's important.
Say that again.
They were negative 500K before the event.
Yes.
So going up to the event with the ticket sales and the PPV sales, when the event started, they knew they were down $500,000.
Yes. Keep in mind that they moved to a bigger venue and they sold a lot of tickets. But before the event had started, they said we're fine. So the reason we found this out was because
I was going to say, if you've already sold the tickets, how do you claw your way back from 500K in the hole? But apparently they still sold a lot of tickets after this.
I wanted Ian to start doing 2 training sessions a day. And I said, Ian, you need to start doing 2-a-days. And he was like, why should I do 2-a-days? And I told him, I was like, Ian, you're not good at boxing, man. My brand is at stake. So you need to do 2-a-days. That's what pro boxers do.
2-a-days.
And so I told him.
Did you actually say that to him?
Yeah, yes. And then I told him, I said, my brand is on the line. I said, you can go back to YouTube. My whole life is fighting and coaching fighters. And I'm like, so if you don't have a good performance, that's going to look bad on me. After the first event, for the first event, he didn't do any of his cardio. So that's why I ended up gassing out so bad.
Didn't do his cardio, didn't want to do 2 training sessions a day. Dude, if I was going to do a boxing thing, which I wouldn't want to do because I'm just too old, frankly. But I'd be like saying, let's go 3 times a day. Like, what's the maximum amount that I can train? That's crazy to me. What does he have to do that's so more important than just not getting rocked in the ring in front of everyone? And then, okay, so then after he's told Idubbbz that Idubbbz was putting his brand at stake by not training hard enough, Anissa was like, our brand's at stake.
Believing it.
Which, in hindsight, it definitely was.
But so for that second event, so I tell him he needs to do 2-a-days. This is like 2 weeks before the fight. I'm like, we need to do your 2-a-days.
They're hard druggies. I don't know about hard druggies, but they probably like indulge in like ecstasy and shit like that. I would guess that's probably one that they do. Yeah, and probably just like medications, like like Adderall and shit like that. I predicted a long time ago that Idubbbz at some point would come out and talk about how he's on antidepressants, and I'm still waiting for my vindication on that. Maybe it won't happen, but if it does, it'll be a good day for me because I'll be able to go pull up a clip from like 3 years ago when I predicted that.
And I said, my brand is at stake. Well, he went and told Anissa that I told him my brand was at stake. So the next day she comes into the gym super mad and she's like, our brand is at stake. We're $500,000 in the hole right now. And we're like,
I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that at that time. I think a lot of the fighters would have liked to have known that. I don't think none of them needed to be in the dark about that, you know.
$3 Proverbs 11:22 A beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout.
Thank you, Bliss Chillin'. But hey, good news, everybody. By the way, I'm reading my Bible, but only because my wife started texting me Bible passages. She reads her Bible at like 6 a.m. and then she texts me because she's like, "You're not reading your Bible, so I'm going to send you." So now I've started reading the ones she sends me. So Harley here is saying, we would have liked to know that they were 500K in the hole because they already, like Harley already said, like when he went to the party and he saw how much money they spent on the party, he was kind of like, well, this is weird. And then later found out that, you know, they didn't raise any money for charity. And also the fighters thought they were going to get a bonus purse because they did after the first Creator Clash. They got like tens of thousands of dollars, like 20, 30K bonus after the fight on the first Creator Clash. So they went into this thinking that that was going to happen again. And then nobody got any of the bonus money because it wasn't there, because it was all spent on this giant party.
Yes.
I think they get paid a little bit of money that is basically supposed to cover their training. So they get like 15, 20K, maybe. I don't quote me on that, but they get like, I don't know if it's more than 15. It's definitely not more than 20. But after the first one, so the first one, they got that money up front, and then they got like another 20K. And so everybody went into the second one thinking that that was going to happen, but it didn't.
Completely. Well, and that's the thing. They said you guys didn't promote enough, but they weren't honest about the fact that they were spending the money from the ticket sales on the hotel, on flying people in, on all these other things. So it was just like,
so those decisions, the gala decisions, were made while in the red.
Yes.
I have a question about that.
So she was like, well,
Tate can beat you up, therefore he's not gay. Obviously, that's not technically true, but I think the point is more like, it's easy to call people gay on the internet, especially people who can beat you up. Maybe you wouldn't be running your mouth so much in person, is kind of the point.
already down 500,000, and she still had time to cancel stuff when she said that. Like, how before the event was that?
Yeah. I mean, it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks before the event. I mean, they
So
knew
she
they
could
were
have made some
500K
last
in
minute
the hole.
moves. Yeah.
They knew they were 500K in the hole long before that, right? That's just when they yelled at us about it.
Yeah.
So they could have definitely made moves to reduce spending.
She wanted that award show so bad the next day. They really, really wanted to have that award show so she could give out awards. Once again, you had heard, like Ian said, he didn't want to have the fight just end and have everybody go home the next day.
He said, I'll quote him because it's very rich. He says that the first time afterwards, he woke up and everybody was gone. And he found it super depressing because he didn't get a chance to process his trauma, which seems a little bit hyperbolic, frankly, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's like a self-inflicted charity event. I wouldn't call that exactly I wouldn't put that up with like maybe like fighting in a war. I don't know. But but I guess we all define trauma differently. But so he goes, so in that case, I wanted to throw a party afterwards where we could all talk to each other and process our trauma. And then he says, we lost money, but I don't regret throwing the after party.
Gorgeous Gabe. Oh, this part's brutal. This is the part about Anissa having a crush on one of the guys that Idubbbz was sparring with.
This next question's very salacious, so it's totally up to you. You can pretend like you don't even know what I'm talking about if you want. But what I've heard is that she was hitting on one of his sparring partners and was obsessed with him and gave him a VIP.
Worski L. Andy Glassjaw Worski.
Pass to the event.
A lot of his sparring partners got the passes, but she definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment. And then even if he would like beat Ian up, she'd be very into it. And then
I want to say that I want to say that
every time he would beat Ian up, she would be very into it. Dude, there's no coming back from this.
before. So Anissa never gave shout outs to Michael training Ian at all, but she put out the first video of Ian like getting rocked in sparring when Ian was sparring with her crush. Yeah.
It was our friend Gabe.
She shared it. Yeah, and we have a clip too. You guys can share.
I would call him Gorgeous Gabe.
Gorgeous Gabe. Anissa had a crush on. Anissa made Ian uncomfortable when she told her mom, "It's okay, I still married somebody rich."
Because you've already exposed her for being like the first person that Ian's ever been with, right?
Yes.
So in my opinion, what happened was she even told us, she used to always tell her mom, "I'm going to be with a millionaire." And so we
Yes.
think that once
She
she
used
kind
to
of got
tell
on,
her mom that she would be with a millionaire. How do you know
Her
that?
mom told her that it had to be someone rich.
How did you know that?
Well, she told
she
us.
would tell us that.
It was, I remember exactly. It was when we were in Vegas going to the other podcast, and we were inside the Uber, and we were with Ian and Anissa. And Anissa said that like her mom only had two expectations for her to marry someone that was rich and also to be of her religion, right? And so she said that Anissa goes, well, I mean, I didn't get someone that was of my religion, but at least I got one part of it right. He's rich. And then she like laughed about it, and then he was in the car, and you could tell he was bothered by it.
I was bothered.
Who wouldn't be bothered by that?
This is so awesome.
Yeah, this is on. It's
Yeah. Oh, my wife's a gold digger. Yeah. Who wouldn't be bothered by that? When she just like jokes about being a gold digger.
It's like a fountain.
This is awesome.
Dude, Ian, it's not too late, man. I don't like to encourage people to get divorced, but I might have to make an exception for Idubbbz.
I'm a child bride survivor, and at the age of 12, I was put into a child marriage from the time I was 12 until 23.
Damn, this got dark fast.
Within my child marriage, I had 2 kids when I was 15 and
Whoa.
17. And this happened in America, okay? And Ian and Nisa are well aware of my story because I've had them in my home. They've seen my kids and everything. And so last year, right, 2024, I learned that there was a House bill in Washington State trying to pass House Bill 1455 to end child marriage. And so when I learned of this bill, I thought to myself, even though it had been 15 years since I escaped my prison, like this is a chance for me to come forward and tell my story. I sent, so Michael and I went to Olympia in Washington. We met with politicians. We lobbied to support the bill. I gave my public testimony to support the bill. And, I was on Seattle Times and television and everything. And I reached out to Ian and Nisa, and I asked them if they could help, share the information, because it was really important to me that this bill passed. And they just both left me on red. But guess what? Today, when they saw the highlights on Ian's story that we were going to be on here, Anissa was texting me and Michael, and they were like,
they reached.
Yeah.
Yeah. They ignored us when we were like trying to fight child marriage. But then when they found out,
are they pro child marriage? Makes one. Begs the question. Yeah. Wait, so how? And if you're uncomfortable talking about this, refrain. But it sounds. How did you get married at 12?
So basically, in Washington State, there's no law to prevent parents from marrying their children. So as long as there's a parental consent, then the judge on it and it happens, it could just marry a child at the age of 2.
What?
Ian had to miss a lot of training because Anissa got cosmetic surgery.
Before he was supposed to start training for his fight camp, right? But then they didn't come and train, and then she decided that she was going to have her tits removed, like during his fight camp.
Oh, that was the second one. That was
I said CC2.
Oh yeah.
So hold on, yeah, I remember. By the way, a long time ago, they came out to hang out with me and Hila, and I find it interesting that she seemed to have always hated me, despite pretending to be my friend for a long time. But she came over and we were hanging out, and she just was like, so I'm getting fake boobs. And I was like, okay, great. Good for you. And then next thing I know, she had them removed like less than a year later. I was like, okay, I guess, what, why? I guess, what was she saying, that it was uncomfortable or something?
I mean, probably
easy come, easy go, minus the $50,000 or whatever to do both those procedures.
Hurt her back.
I mean,
God's sake, what are you doing?
She told me that
I do that in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, she always blames it on everybody. She blames it on her doctor. She told me personally that she wasn't too sure about it, and then her doctor told her to go too big, and now she's not happy. And she's got to get it taken out. But it's like, out of all the times that you could have done it after CC1.
So you're saying you're saying she did it during training camp?
Yes.
Yes.
And so then what? She couldn't go get her surgery on her own. Idubbbz had to go hold her hand and skip his training for the fight. This is crazy. Ethan donates $5,000 to Coach Mike and Kate.
But I want to say here that I, the capitalist, will once again be ponying up for the right cause. It is not right that he stiffed you guys. I'm going to be sending you guys $5,000 for the bonus that you never got.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Because he should have never fucked you guys.
That's insane.
It's my pleasure to do it. I'm going to send you guys that.
H3 is just mogging Idubbbz up and down this stream because you know they don't have that much money. Like obviously they could part with 5K. Shit, I could part with 5K if I had to, but it's much easier for Ethan because he makes so much money off of his podcast that he could just be like, oh, they were supposed to give you 5K and they didn't. I'll do it.
Money, you should have got more than it from him, frankly. But once again, let's just bask. Hassan doesn't pay his moderators. His mods are on stream begging for money.
Look
right?
it up.
Yet, like, look at me, right? Go ahead, Tom, say something nice about me.
You're just an amazing person. You look very handsome in the suit
Thank you.
today.
That's
You're
what my mom
generous
says.
with your money. You're just all around good guy, good family guy, great dad
thank
and
you.
husband.
Thank you. Communist never.
I'll say thanks for reimbursing me and Lena for her training. That was very nice. The check cleared.
I can't believe you're giving me $5,000. This is crazy, dude. I was coming here just for That's nuts.
Oh, you said, sorry, I didn't hear you. You said you were going to give him money too, Harley?
Yeah, Harley.
What'd you say?
Harley just got out Jewed by the King Jew. Oh, shit. Anissa and Ian... Okay, hold on. They asked Anissa to help out their gym by signing on as a personal guarantor in No World.
Mike Brown the Colossal Co-owns sent $3. You better believe me and Georgie waiting for that Idubbbz Miga and his wife to get down here so we can go to town on her. He better upgrade his knees if he wants a chance at stopping us, Boa.
Thank you, Mike Brown. Why doesn't LP pay his loyal mods? Well, I'm gonna. The thing is you're gonna get paid based on how many people you banned. So Jessica V is gonna get the biggest payout out of the $10. She's probably gonna get like $6 of those dollars, and then Standing While Pooping will get a couple dollars, and the rest of you, I don't see you banning people. This is the problem. Get to work. Get to work.
We actually had asked Ian if he could help us open the gym.
Things have been pretty good here lately. Like we haven't really had to ban a lot of people. I'm joking. There's no money, so don't just start banning people. But you know, things have been pretty good lately. We've had to do a lot less banning.
Not even financially, because at the time we were okay. So we were like, hey, could you just help us out by signing as a guarantor? And he had told us in no world could he ever help us.
He said that?
Literally.
He said it like in a mean way?
Yes. In no world. He said, in no world could I help you.
Why would he respond like that?
He did.
Yeah.
He
so
did.
Wait, what?
Well, what is a personal guarantor? Like you were asking him to be liable for your loans? Or I mean, I'm kind of on Idubbbz side on this one. So it's like they were trying to get a loan, then they wanted Idubbbz to co-sign it or something. He didn't have to say in no world, but
earning moderator crypto, but I have given it all back to LP.
Thank you, Mr. Bliss Chillin. Yeah, you know, you don't just go around co-signing people's loans because you're friends with them or whatever. I'm really, this one's not really the W that like all the others.
Hey, when was that? When did he say that?
That was
right after the second creator class.
Yeah, it was
in no world can I help you?
September of 2020.
But I don't. Maybe I'm not understanding because this here says not financial help, but signing on as a personal guarantor. But isn't that the same thing? Like, isn't that a financial liability? Yeah. I'm not retarded. They asked him to co-sign the loan so that if they couldn't pay, he would have to pay, which is something banks do. They won't give you a loan if your credit's not good enough. If the bank doesn't think you can pay, So you get somebody who has money to say, I'll pay if they don't. That's like something your parents are supposed to do for you or something like that. It's not something your friend, unless you're like really fucking tight. It's not something a lot of people are going to do for you.
It was actually like a year
It was
after.
July. No, I know exactly. And I know exactly because I remember when we found that spot. So we found a spot in July 2023 after CC2. And I didn't think that like the 250K hit them that hard because when they made it seem like, oh, they're fine and they're moving on and all these other things, right? And so Michael and I had the capital for our business, but we needed a personal guarantor to help us because we have a new LLC. And so I told Michael, you know, maybe we should ask Ian and Nisa because when they came to us, they had no fight promoter, they had no manager, they had nothing. They were just the two of them, and we didn't know who the hell they were, right? But we stuck it out with them, and we helped them. So even if they couldn't be a personal guarantor for us, they can guide us, right? They can be like, hey.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, but it's a little bit weird to be offended and bothered that they were like, no, I'm not going to be liable for your sketchy business ventures.
Let me give you some referrals or
Let me
something.
put you in. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but instead they responded with, "In no world would we or would we like help you guys."
Why
or
so
could we-"
mean? Why were they so mean?
And I believe that was Anissa texting, not Ian, because those are her words. She always uses the words "in no world."
Yeah.
That's her.
I could believe that. It's kind of weird to be texting like while pretending to be your husband, though. Coach Mike responds to the toxic masculinity label.
By the way, there's
we're almost done here for anybody who's getting bored of this.
I've been having it on
We're
standby.
almost done.
When you referenced the toxic masculinity comment aimed towards you, let me
other
see.
than boxing. Oh, you don't have time or energy to do anything other than boxing. There's just like a lot of things that I've had to learn along the way. Like my coach is a tough ass guy. You know, he's got a little of the toxic male qualities, and it's made it hard sometimes because.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, dude, please. Like, I don't understand. You were literally made videos with Filthy Frank, okay? And now you're like, I can't. He was a little toxic, and it made it hard for me. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah,
and by
I'm
the
like-
way, compared to all the other coaches that I know, you came off seeming like super nice and like not pushy. Yeah.
I know how to be soft with certain people, and then I'll be harder with other people. But if they can't, the sport's already so hard.
Right. So basically, Idubbbz was soft, so he went hard with Idubbbz because that's, if you're soft, that's kind of, you need that more. You need somebody to toughen you up, right? It is what it is. It's like when we were watching the Andrew Tate fight clip at the start of the show, and he like knocked that down guy. And he's like, "Get up, like get up, bitch." You know the guy doesn't want to get up. That's like a weird kind of like tough love of I'm here to like help you by teaching you a lesson kind of thing.
Hard to begin with. This is one of the things I've been involved in fighting for over 25 years. So the sport is so hard to begin with that if you're getting more shit from your coach than you can handle, you're going to have a bad performance, right? So each person you have to treat so differently. So some of my fighters might need me to yell at them, slap them before the event, and really like get to a different kind of savagery. And then other people are very soft. And so you kind of, well, mostly Ian was the softest, but
is he the softest fighter you've ever trained?
What's that?
Is he the softest fighter you've ever worked with?
Well, he hated boxing.
Ian's BO. Is this we already heard about how he was stinking up the room. Is this the same clip?
Do you have any commentary about his potential body odor?
I mean, I say it's true. I smell it all the time. It's horrible. A good example is this, because Michael's so nice, so he doesn't want to say it. But here's the thing: when we're in fight camp, he does 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. Okay.
For the first fight he did. Well,
yeah.
For the first part of the first fight, not for the actual camp.
Correct.
During the camp was when he cut out his 2 days, and that was the most important time to be doing 2 days.
Yes. So he would smell so bad that when he comes back in the afternoon to train, he doesn't shower in between his sessions. And so like the coaches that are training other, members there.
Oh, so he would work out and then come back without showering and just reek of BO. Not shitting his pants, everybody. Just reeking of BO because he somehow could do a workout and not shower afterwards.
Just like look at
That's like a weird depression.
with the weirdest face, like a stink face. And then
Like you have to be kind of depressed to be sweating, covered in sweat, and not be like, I'm going to take a shower now.
Michael would try to take Ian to the corner where there's not a lot of members of the gym, so they don't have to smell it.
I try to take it to the open doorway.
Yeah, so that does happen. I'm not lying. It's true. He doesn't.
And there was something else about him not brushing his teeth, but there wasn't a clip here, or I don't know if this guy tweeted about it. Because like I had watched this other guy's video this morning, unicorn something or other. Okay, here, this is the clip. I think I didn't want to watch his video on stream because he has an annoying voice, but I did hear this part.
Something. It's alleged by Anissa herself that Ian has both bad breath and he shits in his pants frequently. Do you have any data on that, having been in close proximity with him?
No.
Ian.
I don't want to just talk shit about him, but like there would be times, for example, before the first event where he was talking about getting tonsil stones.
Ew.
And he was saying he was going to get strep throat because he had tonsil stones.
Ew.
And I said, Ian, tonsil stones don't cause strep throat. Tonsil stones are because you're not brushing your fucking teeth. And so he was like, oh, okay, hygiene. And I'm like, yeah, fool, like you need to brush your teeth and you like.
Wait, hold on. That shouldn't be something you need to hear from your boxing coach. Brush your teeth. That's something. See, that's knowledge he should have come to you with.
So the coach was like, that's from not brushing your teeth. And Idubbbz wasn't like, but I brush my teeth. Right? Idubbbz was like, oh, you're saying I have to brush my teeth. He's depressed, man. He has depression.
Yeah. He was worried about getting sick. Like, so, yeah. So
Was it Creator Clash 1 or 2 where Anissa sent us, it was the day of training for one of the CC 1 or 2, I can't remember which one. And she sent us a photo of his tongue. And she said, oh, I think he might have like bad breath and it's causing.
Wait, she said tonsil stones.
Hold on. Go back. Why did she send you a picture of his tongue?
They thought it would show us that he was gonna get strep throat.
Yeah, so he couldn't come.
And I'm like, because they were trying to say he's gonna get sick before the event. And it can happen if you train too hard before an event. You run your immune system down, so then you can get sick. But we weren't training too hard for him to get sick.
Oh man. So there you go. That's the highlights of the H3H3 Coach Mike interview. And that's also the show for today. Thank you everybody for watching. Big shout out to another YouTube for the big dono. And by the way, I appreciate that you sent that on Power Chat and not through YouTube. I'm happy to get YouTube super chats, but whenever it's a big one, I'm always like, oh, thank God I didn't have to pay 30% on that. Okay, you guys have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow with another show. Catch you on the flip side.